Alright, welcome everybody. This is the Fusion 2.5 Pong tutorial. So, let's just go ahead and get started. When you open up Fusion for the first time, you're going to see stuff like this pop up. If you don't have any of your properties or toolbars popped up, or it could look like this on your screen, let's just go over that real quick before we start so we know what's going on, right? Because who knows what happens when you start. First off, if you see anything like this, if you like hover over it, it'll pop up. I like to click the pin feature, that way I don't lose them ever. Okay, so I want my toolbars. If they ever disappear, view, toolbars, workspace, view, toolbars, properties. And I like it over here. You can drag it and you can put them in different spots if you want. I like to put them over here, and I like to have this one a little high. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start exit out of that. Brand new. We're gonna go File, New. Now, you might have a different colored frame in the background than me, and that's okay. I'm going to show you some things real quick about that. So what you got to do is double click frame 1. It'll open it up. Now, once again, I don't like the way that this looks with the gray area. I'm going to click the maximize button, and that way I have all my space. Cool. So a couple things. If you click on the frame, you can click out. Over here, nothing pops up. I'm clicking. But if I click my frame editor, it's right here. You'll notice that the background color is here. I can change it to black. I can change it to teal. I can change it to whatever I want. I prefer white. Up here, you have your grids, and you have your snapped grids. Oh, and look at that. Of course, I just exited out of my workspace. Get that back up there. I'm going to put on grids. I like to see what I'm working on. So what we need to first do is add objects and assign movements to those objects. So we're going to go to our local library. We're going to go to Games, Game Objects 2, double click, click, and we're going to have a bunch of balls that we can select. You guys can choose any ball. I'm going to go ahead and do, let's say, ball 3. Now, if I click Snap to Grid, you're going to notice that I can only put it in between the grid features. That's one nice thing about this. So I'll just put it right in the middle where I think it looks like. Boom. Possibly off, who cares? Now, if I click on the ball, you'll see that its properties show up. If I click out, no properties. So whatever I click on, the properties of whatever I click on show up. So what we want to do is we want to give this ball some movement. So if we go to the guy that looks like he's running, he is definitely moving. So let's change the type to a bouncing ball. And then let's change its speed to be a little slower. Now this is how you can change difficulty settings in the future. Make it real quick and it bounces all over the place. Cool. And that's really it. There's nothing else we really need to do. As you can see, there's a randomizer, there's a number of angles, right? You could define which way it bounces, when it starts, so on and so forth. But that's a little advanced. We're just going to say give it a bouncing feature now. Okay, next up, step 3. Adding events, conditions, and actions. So now we're going to make an event. And the event is going to be something that we control, basically like the logic of the game, the interactions of the game, the collisions of the game. So what we need to do is we need to go to our event editor. Now there's a couple ways you can do that. You can go view event editor, you can do Control E, or up here you'll see we have the event editor. This is the most common way for me to do it, but Control E is also pretty easy. So we want a new condition. Click, left click. We're going to make a new condition for our ball. We want to test its position of that ball. And we're going to click all of these. This is our frame area. The frame area is this right here. So as the ball gets to the edges, that's what we're selecting here, right? Once it gets from the inside out, once it gets to the edges, we're going to click that. Okay, and it says leaves the play area. Perfect. And we basically have it set. And that's really it. We just made our first condition, so we can go back to our frame, or you can double click it, click F7, and we should see our ball. My event editor shows off screen, but the ball basically leaves. So we have to tell it what to do, okay? When it finally want it to bounce, for example. So this is harder to, I'm trying to think of a way to explain it without without seeing the visual. So I'm going to do this as quick as possible. Man. It's just nuts. It's so hard to get it to time. Okay, when I click F7, anyways, I clicked F7, the ball's going off the screen. It's not doing anything. Well, that's because we haven't said what to do when it leaves the play area. What we want is, we want to do right click, and we want to do a movement where it bounces off of the play area. And so now when I click my event editor, I can see my ball now bounces off of it. Boom, 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 boom. Cool, right? So that's perfect. That's exactly what we want to see right there. I'm actually going to take a little snip of that. I'm going to put that in the instructions. Boom. Actually, yep, that's exactly what I'll do. I'll just save it. Boom. That way I have it. I can make those instructions a little bit more detailed. Cool. Now let's make it for 2 players. We're going to add some more objects, so we can do that, or we can double click that, bring us over here. Let's add some paddles now, and this should be pretty easy. Now we should see that we're down here. If you don't know where it's at, local library, go to games, game objects 2, and now we're in here. Now we're just going to click a bat, so we're going to stay with the same colored ones. Boom, put that out there. So now what we have to do is rotate the bat, right? So there are several. Well, we can do it different ways, but what I like to do is just double click. You see like this little rotate thing here? Click it, it rotates at 90 degrees. Bada bing, bada boom. It's perfect. Now, we want 2 paddles. I could drag another bat out here, but what I want to do is I actually just want to clone the first one. Now, cloning is a way to kind of like get a massive amount of objects, making 2 different objects. So you see I have bat 1 and bat 2. Right, so what I'm actually going to do is I want to rename this one player 1, P1 bat. This is just for me, and this is going to be P2 bat. This is going to be easy enough to, in the future, because I don't know which one's 1 and 2. If I had clicked duplicate, you're going to see that here's 2 of them, but they didn't populate on the left, right? And that's because duplicating makes them all basically fall under one category. So if I want to make these all walls and make a bunch of walls here, I don't have to make a bunch of new objects and give them all new collisions. I can just make one, like a one-size-fit-all thing. Cloning makes 2 different objects. Cool, we got 2 different bats. Excellent. Place them wherever you want. Doesn't matter. Now let's give them a movement. So you're going to click it, right? Go to this, and you're going to change its type to 8 directions. We're going to go to directions, left click. We're going to give it, come on, an up and down. Let's click on this one. Same thing. 8 directions, up and down. Let's go back to here. 8 directions. Go back to here. 8 directions. But here's the other thing. This is player 1. This is player 2. All right, so I have to change its player type to 2. Now, you would think that now I have 2 different paddles, which means that they are 2 different movements. I'm pressing up and down, and it's moving them both. Well, that's okay, because we haven't actually dictated the controls for this one yet, or this one. So let's go do that. That's what's next. Double-click your application. Somewhere over here, if you click on the properties, it looks like a red arrow. You're going to go scroll down. You're going to see default controls. Now, I like the right side to be up and down, and I like my left side to be different. So all I do is click on this X. For up, I'm going to press W. For down, I press S. For left, it's A. And for right, it's D. And that's it, WSAD. I click OK, OK. I go back to my frame, double click it. F7. WS. Up and down. Yay. We are almost done. We still have more things to do because they have to collide with the wall. They have to collide with the ball. You have to add a counter. I mean, we got more left, but we're getting pretty far. So now what we need to do is make a new condition so that way when the ball collides with another object, it bounces off. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our event editor, create a new condition for our ball. It's going to say collision with another object. And that's going to be object 1. And then collision object 2. Right? And when it does that, we want the ball to bounce. We're going to click movement, bounce, movement, bounce. Let's see what our event editor, let's see what it looks like now. Boom, check it out. Bounces. We're looking good, we're looking good. Cool, so that's where we're at right now. Next up, we want to add some lives. We also want to make sure that when the ball leaves on the left or right side, that it takes away, lives from the game. So we also want to make sure that eventually that our paddles can't leave the play area as well. So that's something that's probably important, but not necessarily important right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a couple conditions. We're going to add a new condition. When the ball, its position, let's test it. We're going to say when the ball leaves right or left. By the way, we want to go back and change this one. So we're going to right click it, edit. We're going to take away right or left. So we only want it to bounce when it hits the top or bottom. All right, so we got to change that one to bottom or top. We got to change this one to left or right. Once again, all I did was right click, edit, and I changed it. To make a new one, you just left click. All right, so what do we want to happen? Well, when it leaves the play area on the left or right, we want the ball to respawn. So we're going to have its position change back, and we're going to set it right there. So now if we click F7, there you go. Every time it leaves an area, it respawns. And if it leaves the right-hand side, boom, it should leave that right-hand side too. Perfect. Now we want to do things like scoring. We're almost there, guys. So let's make sure that we have limit the number of times a player can miss a ball and add a condition similar to the last one, but this time when the ball leaves to the left or to the right, it's going to perform an action, which is going to be it's going to subtract from the number of lives. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a new condition. When the ball test position leaves on the left, did it not take it? There we go. We want to subtract from the lives of player 1. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to select it, right click. We're going to do number of lives, subtract from number of lives. Which means we're going to do, I believe it's player 1, current number of lives, minus 1. I believe that's what we're doing. And then when it leaves on the right, test position of ball 3, we want to do that again, right click, number of lives, subtract from player 2, current number of lives, minus 1. Excellent. Cool. Now we also should probably end the game when the number of lives is 0. So we're going to go here. See player 1. When number of lives reach 0. Ready? When number of lives, player 2. Number of lives reach 0. So for player 1 and player 2, what do we want to happen? Well, we probably want to end the application. So this right here is our storyboard control. So if we right click, it'll be end the application. Right click. Now, if we want to display the number of lives in the game, we have to enter the frame editor again. Double click. Okay? And we're going to scroll down and select the lives object. Where is the lives object? Insert an object. Oh, right click, insert object. What am I doing? I did right click, insert lives. Boom. Right click, insert object, lives. Boom. Let's change where they are. Now we're going to left click, make sure that this is for player 1. Player 1. Make sure this one is for player 2. Cool. Let's just take this moment to F7. See if it works. Bounces still. We're still good. We can notice some errors. Still bounces. Cool. I just want to test the physics of everything. And now what happens when I... Oh, interesting. So now my thing is actually subtracting 2. So I actually have a small error somewhere. And that's okay. It's probably with my event editor. It has probably something to do with this. Subtract lives from number of lives. You'll notice that the initial application everybody has number of lives 3. So I'm going to guess that somewhere in this area of coding is where I've done it leaves left or right. Number of lives subtract from right here. We're going to delete that. We're going to delete that. We're going to try it again. If it leaves the left, let's just do -1. Let's see if that fixes it. And if it doesn't fix it, then I'll come out with a solutions video for it. I don't want to sit here and waste you guys' time trying to figure out why it's subtracting 2 from it as opposed to 1. Fusion, the free version, is kind of funny. Oh, wow, now it's adding to the number of lives. That's great. That's fabulous. Ha! That's funny. That definitely says subtract 1. So, I know the error. And this is funny enough. When you subtract a -1, a negative times a negative is a positive. So we just got to put 1 here. Subtract 1. So, once again, I think the error is simply this. I deleted them. Leaves the play area on the left. Right click, number of lives, subtract 1. When it leaves the right, number of lives, subtract 1. And I guarantee you, I about promise you, that's going to work this time. Yep. So, that's all it was. Excellent. And then it ended, and then the application. So we're there. We can do sounds now, actually. If you want, you can do sounds. And sounds are actually fairly easy. Sounds aren't hard. So, what do we want to put a sound on? What did I say to put a sound on? I said when there's a collision between the two, right? So if there's a collision between the two, let's get a sound going on. And so what we're going to do is with the sound portion of it, when there's a collision, we have sample music that we can do, play sample, and you can choose whatever you want. I don't know. I don't think the free version that we have has anything in it. So what I'm going to do real quick, and I can show you the process. Free Pong sounds. Ha! Ping pong sound effects. Let's do Pong Arcade. I can't hear anything. Anyways, let's just download it. Well, that's not working. I want free Pong sounds. Here we go, Pong Sith. Whatever that is. Alright. wonder if it's because I'm at school. So yeah, this is the part of the boring part of the video. If you want to fast forward it, that's fine. Oh, it's going to my headphones. Now I can hear it. There it is. Oh, I don't want that. I just want to bounce. That's a lot. Oh man, I just want one sound. I just want a single bounce. All right, we're downloading that one. Why? It says premium download. Why do I want to? I just want to download it. Oh my god. Thank goodness. Oh my god. Okay. Orange free sounds. Oh my god. It's about time. All right. So now I know it's. Now I know where it is. It's in my downloads folder. It's in that folder. Cool. All right. Let's do it. Music. Play. Um. Play sample from a file. There we go. Duplicate it. Play sample. Okay. There we go. Now we're playing with some sounds. That's what I like to hear. Cool. I do also. I don't want that these things right here to leave the area. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do position, test position, top and bottom, and we're gonna do the same thing for player two, position, top and bottom. And when they get here, we want their movement to stop. That way, when it goes to the top or bottom of the Pong area, I can't go any further. Now, some people might ask, well, how could I make it so that way it doesn't go all the way up to the top, right? Well, what if and this is extra, by the way, you're basically done with the assignment here. So here's something that you can do. You can place an object in here, right? And this is where I would duplicate it. And you'll see why here in a second. And then see how there's only 1 6, right? So see where when you click on it, brick 6, it says create at start. If we click that, we won't be able to see it when we first load it up. So let's make a new condition where we're going to test when this collides with another object and where this one collides with another object. Can you guess? So that way, when I press F7, I can't see it. And my paddle actually, uh-oh. It's not detecting it. Interesting. Is it create on start or is it visible at start? I'm sorry. It's not. We have to have it created. It's visible at start. I apologize. And that should actually fix the issue. There it is. And you can actually see that's colliding with it. But now the ball has somewhere to go. And it's possible to beat me if you go into the corners. So those are a little bit extras, right? So I hopefully you enjoyed the video. You learned, you got some good information. You see how like I ran into a few errors and kind of like had to overcome it. Other than that, take care, everybody. Have a good one.